Welcome back to the Good as Gold Stock Exchange, the series where we take a look at the rise and fall of Pokemon usage stats in official VGC tournaments. Today we're looking at the stats for the most recent tournament, Stockholm 2025. Being a European tournament, we see some huge changes from Vancouver, as the EU and NA metagames tend to have some pretty decent variation between them. As usual, we'll consider our top gainers, top losers, review last exchange's rise and fall predictions, then look to our prime pick for the week. Let's get into it. For this week's stock exchange, we'll be going 1 decimal point past the flat percentage, as I found quite frequently things were rounded to the same percent. Having this extra 1/10 decimal percent hopefully adds some more insight. Leave a comment as to whether you prefer this or just the flat percentage. Our top gainers are very interesting and include Calyrex Shadow, Rillaboom, Terapagos, Ogerpon Cornerstone, and Incineroar. With many big changes, let's focus on the restricteds first. Cali Shadow is up 11.2%, a massive increase. As usual, Calyrex Shadow tends to have big swings in usage. Due to its raw power, it's often enemy number 1, and when players over-prepare for it, it makes it less favorable into the meta. But when it's down, players tend to under-prepare for it, making it very good into the meta, which seems to be the case at this tournament. So a big upswing from Calyrex currently, after seeing a downswing from last tournament, is expected. Terapagos is up 4.2%. Reaching 4th overall usage for restricteds, and seeing the highest usage we've seen from it in some time, with its biggest counter from a restricted Pokemon in Zamazenta seeing a dip, as well as Calyrex Shadow seeing an increase, which is one of its best matchups. It's no wonder that the Europeans are on the turtle bandwagon. Zamazenta is an amazing counter to Terapagos, being able to one-shot it with Body Press, provided its Terra Shell has been chipped or it's terrestrialized. Wide Guard also blocks its primary damage-dealing spread move, Terra Starstorm. With Calyrex Shadow on the increase, Terapagos is immune to its Astral Barrage, and can hit it with its Stellar-type Terra Starstorm. Whereas Calyrex would normally be immune to Normal-type moves, it's not immune to a Stellar-type attack, so these two other changes are likely factors for Terapagos' increase. Rillaboom finally sees an increase after a steady decrease all format, rising 5.6%, which is pretty significant. Likely contributing factors are the big decrease in Farigiraf, which normally blocks its priority Grassy Glide, as well as a decrease in Amoonguss, which is a common grass type that competes for a move slot. Ogerpon Cornerstone and Incineroar are up 3.5% and 3.2% respectively. Cornerstone makes a comeback, likely due to the restricteds Calyrex Shadow and Terapagos becoming more common, while Calyrex Ice stays at its previous 17.4%. Having Sturdy allows it to live these powerful spread attacks, forcing opponents to double into it for a KO. It also makes an amazing support partner having Follow Me for these, again, Pokemon that use very strong spread moves and want to try and end the game on their own. Keeping them alive is a huge asset. Incineroar again rises a bit, as its favorable matchup into Cali Shadow gives it a boost. A big increase from Rillaboom is also a favorable matchup for Incineroar. Our top losers include Miraidon, Fluttermane, Farigiraf, Iron Hands, Chien-Pao, and Zamazenta. As mentioned, there's quite a few, so let's get through them. Miraidon is down 5.6%, the lowest we've seen from it in quite some time, but it's still in 3rd place for restricteds. The huge rise in Calyrex Shadow and Terapagos, which are both restricteds that compete for a team slot, as well as the rise of Rillaboom, are likely factors for Miraidon's decrease. Zamazenta is down 3.3%, bumping it out of the top 4 restricteds, a place it's held onto for quite some time. Although it has a good matchup in a Terapagos, it seems many players are just using other restricteds at the moment. Increases in Calyrex Shadow, Terapagos, and even niche picks like Lunala have left less space for previously staple restricteds. Fluttermane drops 5.6%, which leaves it at the lowest usage all season. Again, we see the rippling effects of Calyrex Shadow on the metagame, as these fast ghost types compete for team slots. As one rises, the other tends to fall. Farigiraf, Iron Hands, Chien-Pao, and Whimsicott are down 5.5%, 5.4%, and 5%. With the increase of Rillaboom and Incineroar, Farigiraf seemed to be in a good position for more priority blocking. But with Iron Hands and Chien-Pao both down, more than Incineroar and Rillaboom are up, this leaves the metagame overall with less priority for Farigiraf to counter. Miraidon is a very common partner for Farigiraf and Whimsicott, so its drop also likely affected both of these. Tornadus saw a 1.5% increase, which is the main competition for Whimsicott as a Prankster Tailwind setter, which also likely pushed Whimsicott out a bit. Incineroar's increase with Intimidate also likely affected these physical attackers in Iron Hands and Chien-Pao. Zamazenta is also a common pairing with Chien-Pao, so its decrease also likely affected the decrease of Chien-Pao. In summary, Calyrex Shadow shoots up to 1st place, being a whole 7% above its 2nd place counterpart, which is Calyrex Ice. Calyrex Ice remains at the exact same usage from Vancouver at 17.4%. Miraidon falls to 12.5%, leaving it in 3rd place, while Terapagos takes a surprise rise to 4th overall at 10.8%. Zamazenta bubbled out of top 4, leaving it in 5th. Very interesting, Lunala takes 8th place at 2.9%. Likely due to it winning the previous regional, people are looking at it to use something fresh. We don't look at day 2 statistics as much, because it's a smaller sample size, but we did see Lunala jump to 4.1%, leaving it in 7th, and Eternatus rose to 2.8%, taking 8th place on day 2. When seeing niche picks like these break top 8 is exciting and kinda interesting to see. It only takes a very small subset of good players to make this happen, so there's gotta be some group in EU that's just cooking with Eternatus. Urshifu Rapid and Incineroar maintain 1st and 2nd as usual. More interesting is our 3rd and 4th places for non-restricteds, as we see 2 grass types. Rillaboom finally sees an increase, takes 3rd place, while Amoonguss moves down to 4th. Just 1.4% ahead of our 5th place spot, another grass type, Ogerpon Hearthflame. Let's take a look at our previous predictions. We said Koraidon was overvalued, which it seems it was, as it saw a 2.3% drop. While we said Farigiraf was undervalued, it seems it has continued to fall. The aforementioned big drops in Iron Hands and Qianpao are likely contributing factors to this. But with Rillaboom and Incineroar usage up, I still expect Farigiraf to see an increase going forward. In day 2 here, we saw Indeedee Female, Clefairy, and Smeargle take places in the top 12, the first time seeing these 3 in top usage. The huge rise of Kali Shadow and Terapagos are likely reasons for this, as these Pokemon greatly benefit from having multiple support partners on the same team. Since they're so strong, if they can be kept alive, they're able to sweep games all on their own, so having multiple redirectors on the same team can really work with this type of gameplay. For this week, I believe Terapagos is now overvalued. Although seeing some success earlier in the format, it's a very tricky Pokemon to make work for a variety of reasons. Its main counter this tournament in Zamazenta was down, so if Zamazenta picks back up, which it is likely, Terapagos will probably fall down a bit as it has difficulty against it. Our undervalued pick for this week is Iron Hands. With these strong hard hitters like Calyrex Shadow and Terapagos up in usage, Iron Hands is able to tank some of these attacks and hit back hard, as well as apply fake-out pressure to their Follow Me partners to allow an ally to put in some work while they try to set up. We also expect Miraidon to rise going forward as well, mainly just due to its big drop, and Iron Hands is a great partner with it. Prime Pick is a Pokemon we don't expect to increase or decrease, but that has a favorable matchup into the metagame. This week's Prime Pick is Urshifu Single Strike. With 2 Ghost-type restricteds in Kali Shadow and Lunala seeing rises, a Dark type in the metagame has a good matchup into both. This also deals with the common Kali Ice and the rising Terapagos. With the decrease of the main fighting type restricted in Zamazenta, more fighting team slots are available, hitting all 5 of these restricted Pokemon super effectively, as well as hitting up-and-coming support Pokemon like Indeedee Female, Smeargle, and Ogerpon Cornerstone. It hits a lot of things super effectively, while still hitting almost all the metagame at least neutrally. Thanks again to our patrons for supporting the channel, and thanks to you for watching this week's Good as Gold Stock Exchange.